Good evening. Tonight, we bring you breaking news that could reshape the world economy as we know it. A seismic shift in the global economic landscape is unfolding before our eyes, sending shockwaves through financial markets and boardrooms across continents. The Trump administration has announced sweeping new tariffs, specifically targeting Japan's legendary auto industry with steep levies on imported vehicles and parts. This bold move is already sending ripples through international trade circles. But this conflict is about far more than just cars. It's about the livelihoods of millions, the strength of long-standing alliances, and the very rules that govern international commerce. The stakes are deeply personal for workers and families on both sides of the Pacific. The decisions made in the coming days and weeks could redefine economic partnerships, alter the flow of goods, and impact consumers worldwide, potentially raising prices and limiting choices for everyday people. President Trump insists these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and ensure national security, framing the move as a defense against unfair competition. For Japan, this is a direct challenge to its economic model, threatening to unravel a complex supply chain that stretches across borders and supports countless businesses. The world is watching closely as two of its largest economies stand on the brink of a full-blown trade war, with global markets reacting to every new development. These tariffs could lead to higher car prices for American consumers, disrupt Japanese production lines, and put immense strain on diplomatic relations that have taken decades to build. Major automakers like Toyota and Honda are now re-evaluating their US investment plans, raising concerns that the very communities these companies once supported could face economic hardship and job losses. As we delve deeper into this unfolding story, we'll examine the immediate fallout, the human impact, and what this escalating conflict means for the future of global cooperation and competition. The stakes could not be higher, with billions of dollars and millions of jobs hanging in the balance. The future of global trade hangs in the balance, and the world waits to see what happens next. To truly grasp the current crisis facing Japan's automotive industry, one must first appreciate the rich history and profound impact of Japan's auto sector, which stands as a global symbol of manufacturing excellence and innovation. Iconic brands like Toyota and Honda have long been pioneers of innovation, efficiency, and reliability, setting benchmarks for the global automotive industry. In the aftermath of World War II, Japan rebuilt its economy with a strategic focus on high-quality manufacturing, with the auto industry leading the charge. Revolutionary concepts like just-in-time production, which minimized waste and maximized efficiency, became global standards adopted by industries worldwide. The success of the automotive industry is not just an economic triumph. It is a cornerstone of Japan's national identity and a pillar of its economic stability. Millions of people are employed directly or indirectly by automakers and their vast network of suppliers, underscoring the industry's critical role in the nation's economy. Japanese automakers gained a significant foothold in the US market during the 1970s oil crisis, offering fuel-efficient cars that appealed to American consumers. Today, they continue to lead the way in hybrid, electric, and hydrogen technologies, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in sustainable transportation. However, the Trump administration's tariffs pose a significant threat to this legacy, disrupting global operations and challenging the industry's resilience. These tariffs are not merely a tax on cars, they represent a challenge to a legacy of manufacturing prowess and innovation that has been built over decades. The Titans of Tokyo now face one of their greatest challenges yet, as they navigate an uncertain future. The future of Japan's automotive legacy hangs in the balance, as the industry grapples with these unprecedented challenges and seeks to forge a path forward. The US-Japan economic relationship is crucial and complex, marked by cooperation and competition. Post-war, the US helped Japan rebuild, fostering industries that became competitors. By the 1970s, Japanese products created trade imbalances and political friction. Despite past conflicts, the nations built a powerful economic alliance. Japanese companies are integral to the American economy, investing billions in US manufacturing. A Japanese car sold in America is often built in America, complicating trade narratives. Tariffs on Japanese cars are effectively a tax on a global production network. The current administration's unilateral tariffs mark a sharp departure from established negotiation channels. This action threatens to undo decades of economic diplomacy and collaboration. The relationship is precarious, with intertwined supply chains and mutual dependencies. The future of US-Japan trade relations is at a crossroads. On September 1st, 2025, the Trump administration announced tariffs on automobiles and parts. Citing national security, a 25% tariff on imported vehicles and 10% on parts was declared. The move targeted Japanese and European automakers, with an effective date of October 1st. Critics argue the national security justification is a pretext for protectionism. Japan's response was swift, warning of the tariffs' grave impact on the global economy. Toyota and Honda expressed deep disappointment, highlighting the threat to U.S. jobs. The U.S. imports over $40 billion worth of vehicles from Japan annually. A 25% tariff represents a potential $10 billion tax increase, affecting consumers and manufacturers. The 10% tariff on parts disrupts production lines reliant on global supply chains. Industry insiders describe this as a worst-case scenario. The era of protectionism has begun with far-reaching consequences. For Toyota and Honda, the tariffs were a body blow, causing a dramatic sell-off of their stocks. The announcement sent shockwaves through the financial markets, with investors scrambling to reassess their positions. Within hours, billions of dollars in market value were wiped out, and the mood on the trading floor turned from cautious optimism to outright panic. The uncertainty has made investors nervous, fearing a decline in U.S. sales and increased production costs. Many are worried that the tariffs could trigger a broader downturn in the auto sector, affecting not just Japanese automakers, but also their suppliers and dealerships across the country. Both companies have put major U.S. investment plans on hold. Projects that were supposed to create new jobs and expand production have been frozen as executives wait for clarity on the new trade environment. Honda faces a nightmare scenario with tariffs on crucial imported components. The company relies heavily on a global supply chain, and any disruption threatens to halt production lines and delay deliveries to dealers. The strategic calculations for these companies are in chaos. Executives are urgently reviewing every aspect of their operations, from sourcing parts to pricing strategies, trying to find a path forward in a suddenly hostile market. Do they absorb the tariffs, pass costs to consumers, or shift production out of the US? Each option carries risks. Higher prices could drive away buyers, while moving production could mean abandoning years of investment in American facilities. A spokesperson for Honda USA said, "This policy puts our legacy at risk." The company has spent decades building trust with American workers and customers, and now that relationship is under threat. Lobbyists for Japanese automakers are trying to persuade lawmakers that tariffs will hurt their constituents. They argue that thousands of American jobs are at stake, and that the ripple effects could damage local economies far beyond the auto industry. Executives in Japan are holding emergency meetings to map out contingency plans. They're weighing everything from shifting supply chains to scaling back US operations, hoping to minimize the damage. The retreat has begun, with a painful reassessment of their US commitment. Some factories may close, and workers face an uncertain future as companies pull back. The future of Japanese automakers in America is uncertain. Consumers are left wondering if their favorite brands will still be available, and at what price. The impact of the tariffs is profound and far-reaching. It's not just a business story, it's a turning point for the global auto industry, with consequences that will be felt for years to come. The tariffs' impact extends beyond Toyota and Honda, threatening the entire Japanese economy. The Nikkei 225 has declined and the yen has strengthened, hurting exporters. In cities like Toyota City, the future feels uncertain with potential production cuts. Suppliers face order cancellations and layoffs, sending a chill through the industrial region. The promise of lifetime employment is under assault, causing consumer confidence to plummet. The reduction in domestic spending could tip Japan into a recession. Politically, the tariffs put Japanese Prime Minister Kishida in a difficult position. Japan plans to file a WTO complaint and considers retaliatory tariffs on American goods. The political and economic fallout is intertwined, creating a crisis with no simple solution. The interconnected world faces a crossroads, with the future of global trade at stake. The impact of the tariffs is a test for the international community. Economists and analysts warn of severe consequences for both the US and Japanese economies. Dr. Meredith Shaw explains the tariffs are a direct tax on American car buyers. The tariffs could add $2,000 to $6,000 to the price of a new imported car. Michael Dunn describes the tariffs as a sledgehammer to a Swiss watch. The modern auto industry relies on global logistics, disrupted by the tariffs. Experts on US-Japan relations worry about the diplomatic fallout. Dr. Kenji Akiba warns the move erodes trust and damages the alliance. The tariffs are unlikely to bring auto jobs back to the US. Automation has changed manufacturing, and higher costs discourage investment. Toyota and Honda pausing investment plans is a sign the policy is backfiring. The future of US-Japan relations depends on diplomacy and cooperation. The stakes are high, with the global economy hanging in the balance. As the October 1st implementation date approaches, the path forward is uncertain. The global auto industry waits to see if negotiations can avert the crisis. The Japanese government engages in diplomatic talks while preparing a WTO case. The Trump administration shows little willingness to back down. Toyota and Honda face difficult choices for their US-bound inventory. The potential for escalation is the greatest fear, with retaliatory tariffs looming. American farmers could become the next victims in a tit-for-tat cycle. Influential voices in the US may persuade the administration to change course. The future of US-Japan auto trade depends on diplomacy triumphing over protectionism. A compromise could spare the industry from chaos, but the climate is confrontational. Companies, workers, and consumers brace for impact, navigating a treacherous road. The smooth ride the global auto industry enjoyed is officially over. The tariffs on Japanese vehicles and parts have thrown the industry into turmoil. For Japan, it's an existential threat to its economic backbone. For Toyota and Honda, it forces a painful reassessment of their US investments. For the US, it threatens to raise prices, disrupt manufacturing, and strain alliances. The story is a reminder of our interconnected world and fragile supply chains. Political shifts and nationalism put decades of economic integration at risk. The coming weeks are critical, with dialogue and diplomacy needed to avert a trade war. The fate of jobs in the global economy hangs in the balance. This is a defining moment for international commerce and cooperation. We must ask what kind of global economy we want, partnership or protectionism. The road ahead is uncertain, with high stakes for all. Thank you for watching. Join the conversation and subscribe for continued coverage.